Hello and welcome to the 501c Drop. I'm Leya Simmons and I am the CEO and co-founder of BetterUnite, as well as your host today and every Tuesday for the 501c Drop. Today's conversation is one that I have really been looking forward to. So if you are here in Austin, Texas, where I live, the name Linda Medina-Lopez probably has a familiar ring to you. It might already mean something to you. She is right now the executive director of Con Mi Madre, a dual generation organization empowering Latina students and their mothers from sixth grade and all the way through college, through graduation, let's say. Wraparound support, they've got real access, and the outcomes are outstanding. I'm going to let Linda pipe in here and add some context to us because there is also quite a rich history to Con Mi Madre as well. And we're going to spend a lot of time today talking about what makes their model different, but also what makes their model work so well. But before Con Mi Madre, Linda led the Pflugerville, which is an area just north of Austin, the Pflugerville Education Foundation, where she doubled the operating budget, built new scholarships, new partnerships, and new initiatives from the ground up. And then before that, she was at the College Board, expanding access to SAT, PSAT, AP, and college planning resources for students and families all across Texas. And way before any of that, Linda was also a first grade teacher. And again, we're going to come back to this because I think that origin story matters so much. Linda is a builder of communities outside of her day job. She founded, I just can't even get through all of this, Linda, before I can say hi to you, but hang on one second. She founded the Young Hispanic Professional Association of Austin in 2006, co-founded the El Paso in Austin network the year after, and she has served on more boards and councils than I can count. That's literally what it says here in my intro. The UT System Chancellor's Centurion Advisory Council, Leadership Austin, the City of Austin Commission for Women, South by Southwest EDU, Austin Community Foundation's Hispanic Impact Fund, and the list keeps going. Linda has been honored as Austin Women Magazine's Changemaker in Education, TAMACC Woman of Distinction, a Girl Scouts Woman of Distinction, and she's been named one of Austin's most influential Latinos. And one quick note before we dive in, Con Mi Madre's signature fundraiser, Corazon, the Corazon Awards is coming up on we just talked about this literally 2 weeks from today, Tuesday, May 19th, right here in Austin. I've already put the link to register or donate in our chat. So as you're coming in, please go ahead and take a look at that. Finally, Linda, welcome.
Thank you, Leah. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be on this national platform and to share a little bit more about me, my passion, and the work that I get to do every single day. It's an honor.
Absolutely. I love that so much. Thank you for joining us and taking some time out of what I know is an exceedingly busy schedule. And as a fellow mom, we've entered the area of May, which is like, Christmas again for some of us as well. And you've got your gala fundraiser, or it's not a gala, it's a luncheon, right? Luncheon fundraiser coming up so soon.
Evening. It's a gala in the evening, yes.
Gala, I'm so sorry. I just can't say, this is a testament to how hard you work that you're like, yeah, sure, let's throw this in too.
Why not?
Why not? Okay, let's go ahead and dive in because I'm really excited about a lot of these questions. And you and I spoke about this, I heard it's a couple weeks ago now. So I really am excited and thrilled to have other folks hear your story. For those who have not yet met you, and I mentioned you are clearly in what I talked about, a woman about Austin and El Paso and Pflugerville. So a lot of folks here around these parts know you. But for our statewide and national attendees here on the call, take us back to that first grade classroom. What was the moment that told you the work you wanted to do was bigger than just one classroom?
Absolutely. I was a teacher for a total of 5 years in half a semester in El Paso ISD and the rest of the years here in Austin ISD. And I loved my classroom. I poured myself inside and out, just staying after school, teaching after school, coming on the weekends, just really going all in. And I loved it. I was teacher of the year, just went above and beyond. created opportunities for my students to go to San Antonio on a field trip, partner with IBM to bring in tutors. Like I love my classroom. But what I started noticing about a year or two before I decided to leave the classroom was that really my students needed more resources. It was a first grade bilingual classroom,
Mhm.
and these students of mine were just so amazing. I'm still in contact with many of them today.
That's awesome.
Yes, and they were just they wanted to continue their education, and
Mhm.
they had big dreams to become an engineer, a teacher. They would tell me at first grade what their big mission in life would be, and I realized that the campus there was so much that the school could do. So I needed to step out of the classroom in the community, partnering with organizations, with individuals for donations, for partnerships, for fundraisers. I remember we had several big sales to fundraise to go to our field trip in San Antonio, and I said, you know what, we could be doing so much with in partnership with businesses and organizations to help support these students day in and
Mhm.
day out. And so not just my students, but all students.
Yeah.
And so because I had just moved to the Austin area, I wanted to build community. And that's why when you mentioned, the Young Hispanic Professional Austin Association, that came out of need. I wanted to belong to something like it. And so that I founded that one in 2006. And in 2007, El Paso and Austin Network. But those two organizations really helped me develop a new skill set that I
Mm.
didn't even know that I had, because I had gone to, I had received my degree in teaching. I had just received my master's at Concordia University here in Austin, master's in literacy. So I was going to be in education for a long time. But really, seeing the needs of my students, creating these two organizations allowed me to see that we could be doing so much more for education. And that's when I was like, hey, I think I'm good at business. I didn't know it at the time. I think I'm good at business development and marketing and community relations. And I really started to stretch myself, putting myself in new roles, volunteer roles specifically, to help me see that side of me that I can see at that moment. But like I said, after like 2 years, I said, it's time. I think it's time for me to step out of the classroom so that I can help the campuses. And so I've had a wonderful career, 20 plus years in the field of education. As you can see, on my LinkedIn and my bio, just a variety of roles from being a classroom teacher, working with students and parents, working in community relations at Austin ISD, working at the College Board in higher ed, and ensuring that every student had the access and the opportunity to go to college. And so putting all of my skill set together really positioned me to lead nonprofit organizations the last 5 years. And so, I look back at my career and I said, you know what? I took a risk, but when I see the work that I have done over the years, I'm just so grateful, and I've seen the impact, and I'm still some of the impact I might not be able to see, but in the short time, the last 20 plus years, I've seen some really amazing stories. And I want to just plug in a really, really unique story, Leah,
Oh,
that when
yes.
I joined Con Mi Madre, I joined in November of 2025, and we have a monthly session called Entre Madres. So we get to have workshops with our moms, get to know each other, have them get to know each other, and really give them a really good speaker and workshop and all that. And I remember, I'm there greeting all the moms, making sure that I make eye contact, introduce myself, and just learn more about them. And as
Yeah.
soon as I turned the corner, I saw one of the moms, and she just yelled out, "Miss Medina!" And I was like, I looked at her, I was like, oh my gosh, she is the mother of one of my former students. I just
Oh,
got goosebumps right now
I did
because I'm
too.
like, I know. I just got goosebumps because it's a full story for me, full circle for me,
Yeah.
that I was once in the classroom, and of course, this is her younger sister. Okay, my student already graduated from college, and so this is the younger sister, where the mom is, still all in an education, and we connected heart to heart. She shared with me that her husband had left the home. And so she was not going to allow that instance to really, impact the girl's future. So she's like, I stayed with Con mi Madre. One of my girls already went through the entire program. I'm going to stay for my youngest daughter. We're going to get through this. And Con mi Madre has given me just the opportunities to really keep going. And so for me, oh my gosh, like that was everything. Like,
Oh,
you know, when I left the classroom, I didn't expect to see one of my moms, one of my
yeah.
teacher moms, student moms, in the program. So I've had instances like that where I'm like, this is exactly where I need to be. So I am just
Oh.
so very grateful and thankful.
I cannot think of a better, for lack of a better word, God wink than that to say you are exactly what you said, where you need to be, exactly at the right place, exactly right now. And to think too that you were building these communities back in 2006 before we had our loneliness epidemics. I mean, how much more valuable those are today as well, as valuable as they were then. That need has just, I mean, I would say exploded between then and
Absolutely.
now.
Oh yeah, our families need us now more than ever. Absolutely.
100%. Well, okay. So, uh, I want to talk about Con Mi Madre and this beautiful dual generation setup that you have. Con Mi Madre serves both Latina daughters and their mothers in this dual generation model and I just want to give you some space to describe that for us, for those that have never heard and don't really know what that means. And I'd also look, because you did this for me, I'd love to hear what it looks like on the ground. So if you could describe that and how you kind of manage serving two generations together at the same time and why that matters uh, more, I would say, than serving them separately.
Absolutely. And you mentioned this in the intro, so I'll go ahead and talk about it very briefly and tying in very well with the story, Leah. The Con Mi Madre was founded in 1992 by the Junior League of Austin. Back then, it was called the Hispanic Mother-Daughter Program. They saw a need. They saw a statistic that showed that a Latina girl would be more than likely not to attend college, and so they wanted to close that gap. And so that's when they decided to create what's called the Hispanic Daughter Program, just like they have Codes for Kids for many, many years. It
Mm-hmm.
was one of their signature programming. And so they have served many families over the years. And it wasn't until 2008 that they decided to have Con Mi Madre become an independent nonprofit organization. And hence the name was born, Con Mi Madre. It stands for a mother's, Madre, the acronym is Mothers and Daughters Raising Expectations. And so since the founding of the independent nonprofit in 2008, we have continued to serve both the student and their mothers at the same time. What that means to us, it's a dual generational organization that provides services for both, right? And so we're allowing them to have good, healthy conversations about mental health, leadership,
Mm.
um, going to college. We take them to college field trips together so that they can navigate and ask those questions like, tell me more about, tuition and the financial aid and the schedules. And so when they're in our program for 11 years, they enter from sixth grade and they finish when they're in college, right? Senior year in college. So they're in our program for 11 years. It's an 11-year journey.
Sure.
Imagine how many workshops, how many speakers that they could see themselves in, how many field trips, conferences, opportunities. We're just talking a wealth of resources. And we would not be able to do this without the support of the community. Because they're the ones that sponsor, that donate, that volunteer, that speak at these events. And we're just forever grateful. For us and for me, it's not just about that one student. Well, it's everything for me, for that one student. However, in this case, we're impacting the lives of the mother, right? Mother daughter program, but then the generations to come, years after years beyond them. So we're making an impact now. We're planting the seeds now for the future generations of that student, of that mother daughter team, right? Their grandkids and their great grandkids, right? They will be able to look at this moment. I do have an amazing board member. Shout out to Karen. I have to share briefly her story. She started the program of Con Mi Madre first, and then her sisters came along, and then our cousins came along. 11 of her family members have gone through Con Mi Madre.
Oh, I have
Think
to once
about,
again.
right, think about the generational impact in their cousins and those generations. And that's what we're all about. We're here to guide them in their journey every step of the way. Our
Mm,
curriculum is grade level specific. We have grade level discussions about mental health, about test taking strategies, about bullying, about everything that you can think of under the
sure.
sun, right? But we want to make sure that our curriculum is very diverse and very relevant, culturally relevant to our families. And again, we do this together with the daughters and the moms. And so these conversations that they're a part of goes way beyond the program. They can have these healthy conversations at home without fear. And
Mhm.
I feel like they can, I mean, their bond is strengthened. It is like at another level. You should come and see some of our girls. Leah, one of these days, since you're here local, I
I would
mean,
love that. I was in my head thinking, how can I
you
see?
see them. We just had our Mother's Day brunch this past weekend, and I shared with them how, um, not only does it matter, the words that the moms speak to the girls, but also that the words that the girls speak to their moms. I shared a little story about how me growing up in El Paso, my mom wanted to become a real estate agent, and she had failed the test 3 times already. She was about to give up. She was like, I'm done. I don't think I can do this. She was talking to her mentor. And I happened to be in the room. I was only 12
Wow.
years old, and I heard her say, I'm giving up. I don't think I could take the test any longer. And she told me that. I turned around, I looked at her in the eyes, and I told her, but mom, with faith and will, you can accomplish anything. Me at 12 years old, I said that. And she said that that moment changed everything for her. Like the other day, she brought it up and we both teared up.
Oh,
She said that was
great.
everything for me. Yeah. She's
Oh,
been a successful real estate agent in the El Paso area these last 34 years, and just amazing. So I shared briefly that testimony because the words matter so much, not just from the mom to the daughter, but the daughter to the mom. And then I had them do an activity to look at each other and share 3 things that they love about each other. And they took turns. I saw some eyes that got a little bit watery. I saw some smiles, some hugs. And that is what we're all about. We're changing lives. We're changing lives.
yeah, it's such an incredible testimony, your own. I remembered from our conversation, and that's actually one of my questions, that I knew you had a strong tie to the work of Con Mi Madre, even though you weren't an actual program participant. And you and I spoke about that. Also, my mother went to medical school when I was in fifth
Right.
grade and had
Yes.
delivered uh, meals for Meals on Wheels. And so I credit my interest in nonprofit as well as my, kind of sticking to a career through motherhood and all of those things to what
Absolutely.
I witnessed from my mom. But just so much of it is watching the actions of the parents as much as the words as well. So the value of having the parent come along for those sessions and meetings and everything else is just profound. I think that it's clearly a system that's very much working today. So I
Thank
just
you.
love that. So you now, as the executive director, this is your first time as an executive director. Is that
Second
correct?
time. Second
Second time.
time. Mhm.
Okay. So what you've done a lot of other jobs as well within all of your nonprofits and business development, as you've mentioned. What is impacting you the most right now, or skill set, or maybe what do you notice that's different being an executive director that's very informed by all of the hats you've worn along the way?
Yeah. I think what stands out for me the most is that I think about the organization 24/7. I carry the vision, the passion, and the responsibility of leading an organization and the work that we do.
Yeah.
Everything from our 12 staff members to our 10 amazing board members, the families that we serve in the greater Austin area, to our current funding, to the future of the organization. And so everywhere I go, every room I walk into, um, that's top of mind for me as I'm having these bold conversations with potential donors or members in the community that have supported in the past, and I want to re-engage them, or potential partnerships. And what
Sure.
I've learned for many years, I've known this, but now it's like, I'm double armed. I'm double armed because being in the nonprofit sector, especially as an executive director, you wear many hats, as you mentioned, right? And so I don't want to leave any rock unturned for for anything that we do, from our programs to our funding to the conversations to the what ifs, the initiatives. And so my philosophy is, you just have to go for it. You just have to do it. You have to do the ask. When it comes to fundraising, right? You have to have thick skin to be in this role, because we rely on the community, right? To whether it's grants or sponsorships, individual donations, attending events, you name it. And so, I have this philosophy that if you don't ask, you will not receive. And so I, of course, being in business development before and in fundraising, there will be a lot of no's, a lot of no's. And it hurts me for a second. I'm not going to lie. But then I dust myself off and I just like, okay, all right. They said, no, it's okay. What was my takeaway? Now they learned a little bit more about the organization. Now I
Absolutely.
learned about their fiscal year budget. It ends at the end of June, end of October. It starts in January. Like every corporation, every business, they have their different, timelines. And then now it's like, okay, well, maybe they could build this into next year's budget. And so you just have to have that thick skin and know that there are going to be a lot of no's, a lot of yeses, and a lot of hope. And for me to be able to fundraise for Con Mi Madre is just a true gift, because I know that I get to serve these families and these students for a better tomorrow.
Oh, that's just great. And that is so true of fundraising and development work, that when you get to that place, I mean, the worst they can say is no.
Mhm.
And even like you described, they say no and you learn something. But being fueled by that passion, that like you said, like that I get to do this. This is actually a privilege, is an incredible reframe. I'm so grateful to you for mentioning that here on our 501c drop. That's something I think we can, I mean, I would bet you as well as I, when in my fundraising days, there are days when you have to remind yourself of that
Mhm.
a little more aggressively than on other days where that just comes very naturally after maybe too
Absolutely.
many no's all in a row. But it truly is such a privilege for these organizations to get to be a voice for them, just like you said. So you're out there just obviously penultimate community builder. And I think you and I discussed the authentic relationships
Mhm.
secret sauce of Con Mi Madre, and then frankly also the work that you do with as an executive director, what you just described. In our sector, in the nonprofit sector, there's a lot of us that talk about, or a lot of folks will talk about, building relationships. But what would you say is like a difference, or a key difference between the inauthentic and the authentic relationship? Like what really defines that for you?
Right. For me, it's all about the relationship. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
how do you nurture that relationship
Sure.
so that whether it's a sponsorship, an individual donor, or corporate sponsorship, there are stages to this, fundraising pipeline. And if you miss out on one, you know, opportunity, like for example, if you don't follow up, or you're not authentic when you're talking to them, if you seem more transactional than relational, they're going to feel it, they're going to see it, they're going to say no.
Yeah.
And so to me is being very authentic. And for me, I also try to do a little research on anyone that if I know who I'm going to see or who I'm meeting with, I like to do some pre-work ahead of time, checking out their website, their giving pillars, checking out to see who they have funded in the before, who have they
Hmm.
supported before. It just gives me an idea, because when if I get to have a conversation, a meeting with a potential donor or investor, um, I like to let them talk first, and so that I could see alignment.
Yeah.
And then I could see what they're really passionate about, because, I've already had, within the last 2 weeks, I already had like, maybe like, gosh, I'm losing count, maybe like 6 or 7 really good conversations. And I mean, there's so much we can do. And, and there's some things that are going to pull at their hearts, and others are like, no, we'd rather stick to, we want to be a speaker or presenter, or we don't just want to give a check, Linda. I've already had several companies told me this. I don't just want to give a check. I want to be engaged. We want to engage our employees. We want to come to you. What do you need? I was talking to, actually, I was not talking to, I was working on a project, a proposal yesterday, where they said, what's on your wish list? What's on
Oh,
your
that's
wish
a
list?
good
What
question.
can we do for you? Like, literally, they gave me a spreadsheet, and they gave me a sample of some another organization that they did some amazing things with. And I'm not kidding, it had like, I don't know, like 50 things on the wish list. And I was like, okay. So I was like, all right. So I shared it with my leadership team. I was like, hey, I started the spreadsheet. Here's some ideas. And I added some of this and that. Please add to it. And then they're going to go back to their team and to decide collectively what they can do and cannot. But for a company to say, what's on your wish list? I'm like, oh my gosh, like, thank you. Thank you. And so there's just an opportunity for every single partner to work with Con Mi Madre, from a
Sure.
speaker to volunteers to an investor or giving circle, attending our Corazon in 2 weeks. There's just plenty of opportunities. It's just really what tugs at their heart, and what inspires them. And at the end of the day, what they would like to accomplish as a company. So for me is really being authentic, following up, continuing those conversations. Of course, add in a little bit of, personal touch to
For
your
sure.
relationship, about, like how we connected, right?
Yeah.
About talking about our moms and our upbringing and our, our children. So adding a little bit, like, hey, how's your family? I saw on LinkedIn, I love LinkedIn, by the way. I'll tell them,
Connect
hey,
with Linda on LinkedIn. I'll put your LinkedIn in the chat
yes.
here.
Oh, I love it, because I not only get to see what they're doing, but then they get to see what I'm doing too. And then the next time I see them, they're like, oh my gosh, I saw that, you were here, or hey, I didn't know that, this or that. And so it really allows you kind of break the ice a little bit more.
Sure.
And that's why I love LinkedIn, because I'm like, I feel like I have done this many times, and people that know me, they're like, okay, Linda, but I'm like, hey, it works. If I recognize someone, say we hadn't met, like even when we met for the first time, Leah,
Yeah.
I saw you. I'm like, hey, how are you? Like, I knew, what you looked like, and it really allowed us
I'm
to
not gonna lie, I did the same exact thing
right.
for
It
you
allows us to
on
connect
LinkedIn.
immediately. Or even
Great.
when we go to, yeah, even when I go to other events, and I'm like, you know what? I know that so and so. Let me just go up there and say hi to him or her, give him my business card, and they're like, they're most of the time they're surprised. They're like, oh hey, hi, how are you? Oh my gosh, thanks so much for saying hi. And then we chat a little bit, make that connection. And a lot of things happen because of those small conversations. It really takes that. I don't see it as a risk. I know some people that they're a little bit, I can be shy at times. Believe me, I can be shy at times, but other people are like, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to network. Or I don't want to go. I was like, okay, that's fine. But I have a job to do. And so whenever I'm at an event, a luncheon, a reception, I will try to, of course, make new connections and say
Yeah.
hi to some that, are partners, or say thank you to some of them. And so really being authentic, and showing your true self, both on social media and off. That's very important to me. You'll get the same person from me all
That
the time.
is, I honestly, one of my core values, or my core value, is authenticity. That's the word that I
Um,
chose for it, because I just love, and I loved this about you too. And I love your LinkedIn post for this as well, since I've been following you. you are who you are over here, and you are who you are, over here. Like, just be the same. Exactly. And so that's exactly what you've described, and you do so well. But I mean, for you, like you said, it comes naturally. But I also hear that you put in the work around it. It's not
I
just
roll up my sleeves.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You're
absolutely.
not just like, oh, I was born this way, I can do this really easily.
Oh
I'm the
no.
kind of person. I'm exactly in the same boat. Do you have an example of a that you can think of, and it's okay if you can't,
Yeah.
but of like maybe a donor or a sponsorship or a partnership that started very small, but that has grown into something much more significant as you nurtured it along the way?
Yeah, I know. Let's see. I could think of one in particular. I remember this gentleman from many years ago in my Austin ISD days, and I remember I wasn't working with him directly, but he was working on a project with someone, and I remember his face. I mean, this was like 15 years ago, and that was it. I just remember his face, and I hadn't heard from him in years. And I remember going to a chamber luncheon, and I saw him sitting down, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go say hi to him. Again, I'm just gonna, just do my thing. And I was like, hey, hi, how are you? I'm Linda, and I remember you from my district days. We didn't really get to work together, but I remember you. Oh yeah, yeah. How are you? Turns out that he has a family business, and we started talking. They were located in the region where I was at, and from then on, we had coffee, learned more about the organization, sponsored some things, and then really grew into like a much bigger gift over the years
Wow.
because of just building that relationship, connecting with him and his wife and his family. And so just over the years, that relationship has really strengthened. And I'm like, if I hadn't said hi, if I would have been like, okay, never mind, like, oh my gosh, I think about every moment that I've had where there was a grant opportunity or donation. It's like there that I had to take some steps to get there. It
Sure.
doesn't happen overnight. Or I mean, every once in a while we'll get someone mail us a check, and oh my gosh, like we're so grateful. But for everything else, like we have to put in the work. I have to put in the work. And again, it takes these small steps. Sometimes it takes a couple of years, but it's just all about nurturing the relationship, following up. If you see them in person, go say hi. And those moments really matter, really, really matter.
So for the development directors that are listening and executive directors that are doing a bulk of the fundraising like you are, you mentioned you've got a staff of 10. I imagine that there's not a ton of people in your development department. So how
Zero.
do you, yeah, okay, there you go. So it's you.
It's
So
just
it's just you. And you know what? I've been in that situation as well.
right.
So, and it's a place that a lot of really solid nonprofits are as well. And so I'm curious, what do you, how do you, it's, you've got 40 donors or 40 contacts that could and, ideally would shepherd, steward all along the way. How do you make the decision to, well, I guess I would say let's use a nice round number. You've got 100 donors, and you know that maybe 40 of them have bigger capacity, or they've got this kind of they've given you growth signals. How do you decide where you're going to put that relational energy, because you are just one person?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I'm in a unique situation because I just joined 5 months ago. It feels like I've been here a year,
Of
but
course.
I've only been here for 5 months. And really learning, who the donors are, the relationships, the history, and so I want to make sure that first, those that have been supporting the organization for many years know that I'm here, know that I know that they've supported the organization, that they exist, and I thank them, so that you know um, we nurture those that have been here for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, I'll continue to build on new donors, new partners. We need to start somewhere, whether it's a coffee or a Zoom, and really understand, just again, their giving pillars and where they're at in terms of, how, in what ways they would like to engage. And then, of course, also think about those that have rolled off, right? How can we reconnect with them? How
Re-engage,
can we bring them
absolutely.
back? And of course, part of the donor journey is sometimes for an organization, for any organization that I've been a part of, it's, you know, there's a lifetime for that donor. They might not be there for a long time. So I don't want to rely on a specific donor, that they're going to give this amount year after year. I don't want to take that for granted. And we can't assume that they're going to be able to do it forever. And so, yes, I want to continue to nurture that relationship, but at the same time I need to develop new relationships, right? Because at any given time, and it's happened where it's like, hey, I've had a longtime partner here that said, you know what, we're just so grateful for the work that we've done for many years. We're going to diversify our funding, and we're going to, we'll come back, in a couple of years, but we funded the organization for the last 10 years. That's like, okay, no worries. Absolutely. And so we understand that sometimes the donor journey, just like any relationship, will come to, a pause or an end. And then we need to keep on going. But, that doesn't mean that I'm going to stop inviting them to come to Corazon or any events. And, they might, after a couple of years, I might come back. And so, we want to make sure that they know that the doors are always open and they can, connect with us at any given time. And so, there's multiple journeys from, the existing to the new ones, to those that we've lost and those that we haven't even reached just yet. And I will say, being in the greater Austin area, I mean, every time I drive down any street, I feel like there's new companies moving in, new
100%.
people moving in, like left and right. It's like, how are we going to get the word out? How are we going to amplify our mission in the community for new individuals, new companies that have just moved in here? And so that's why right now I said yes to this opportunity too. I want to amplify the work that we do, because it could potentially lead to someone that maybe had never heard about the organization. And they're like, oh my gosh, we love what they're doing. Let me support them. So when we do, any type of, fundraising initiative, and they see our name, they're right there with us. So
Part of
we're
this
so
organization.
thankful for all of our partners, just, old and new, and just so thankful because for the last 34 years, we've been able to do what we do. So thank you all so
Oh,
much.
I love that. And here you are giving gratitude even in this moment where we're
Absolutely.
talking about this.
Absolutely.
It's wonderful. And, I would be remiss if I didn't say, and I know that you are using these kinds of things, but you talk about donor journeys. And, now some of that can be supported by, and I apologize for being such a
No, we're
technologist,
looking
but
into
I
it.
can't help
We're
it.
looking into it. I know.
There's
Ask my
wonderful.
leadership team. We're looking into this.
It's exactly. So there's one, I would talk to Linda about this, that there's some wonderful automations and workflows that we can do, but which are not taking the human out of the loop, but within BetterUnite, but within other tools as well. In a moves management suite, you can,
Yeah,
really, remind yourself, have the right email go at the right time, the text message. So anyway, technology is really following what you do, but it
absolutely.
ends up being able to lead the effort, and also to, sometimes disperse it among board members and volunteers and committees, or even, for in your case, maybe staff, clients as well. So I love that piece. But what I really want to talk about, because it's much more interesting to me, the storytelling that you do, I find really fascinating. Just listening to the way that you speak about the work that you all do with such passion and such, like, it's so rich and colorful. And I find, as you can imagine, go to a lot of events, and I hear and see a lot of the work of nonprofits, which are all doing incredible work. But sometimes the story can start to feel a bit sad and flat, and like the poor nonprofit people, or it's a charity case. Honestly, I don't love that word charity for that reason, that it feels a little more like giving without return, which in my eyes, nonprofits provide a great return for everybody in the community, all
Absolutely.
of them. So how do you go about keeping that richness and that colorfulness to the stories that you tell without being, either flat or even at worst exploitative of the folks that you are working with and seeing?
Sure. One of the things that we've been working on here at Con Mi Madre with our staff members is, really allowing them to share more stories of our families, right? Of
Yeah.
share those testimonials, of strength, of resilience, of, just share their story, right? We know, everyone has encountered different barriers, but it's like we're not the savior, right? We're walking alongside with them. And so at the end of the day, the stories that we share, if they were
Hmm.
to hear the story, would they feel good about it, or well, would they feel happy about it? And so always, keep our families in mind, because yes, we're not going to exploit, we're not going to, just share any sensitive information. It's just that, these are the things we've been able to do to allow them to navigate and grow and provide those resources that they needed at that time. Because every family is different. They're all navigating totally different things. We have thousands of alumni now that have graduated from the program. They're just doing amazing things now in the greater Austin community. Those that I've heard of, I know I still have ways to go to learn more about our alumni, but the short list that I have, they're just leading the community in very amazing ways, and they all have a unique, special story. So at the end of the day, I want to make sure that we are respectful, we honor our families, and if they were to hear it, see it in print, see it on TV, would they be honored or would they be upset? So I always
That
keep.
is a very good barometer, actually, I think, and a wonderful one to just kind of always keep top of mind.
Yeah. And recently I had an amazing friend do a workshop for us on storytelling.
Oh,
Kudos to Holly, you know who you are. She was just amazing. She really helped us, find just some really good elements, and the, yeah, the pitches and the just all the things. And so, some of our staff hadn't participated in a workshop like that, so it really allowed them to stretch. And it's like, hey, you only have 1 minute to talk, less than 1 minute to talk to a future, mom or daughter at a recruitment event, or you're at a school and someone tells you, what is going to be Madre? Are you ready? Are you ready to do it in like a few seconds, right? Because they're going to go to the next booth. And so yeah, we're just, really working hard on ensuring that not just our families have the resources, but also our staff have the resources and the needs. And so we're creating a really good, robust professional development program here within our team, so that they can continue to grow and stretch. And when the day comes, they leave our organization, they're a better staff person. And so I'm a lifelong learner. I've always used that word as a teacher. And so, yeah, I just want to continue to do better and provide.
you're doing, I just love that. You're really investing in the
Absolutely.
storytelling and the brand. And then, I mean, bringing in an outside consultant to have a workshop for, did you say it was staff and board? Do you do that same work with the board as well to get the,
No,
no.
that's a great idea. We've only right now, since we have monthly staff meetings, at every staff meeting we have a topic and a professional come and speak to us. But maybe I should open it up to the board, and if they're available to come and join us. I know they already do a lot of work in the committees, in the fundraising and the board meetings, but hey, we're offering this. If you want to join us, why not?
They
So yeah.
might love the opportunity to get that like elevator pitch, 1 minute, blurb down
And we
pat.
practiced
So that,
it. They
yeah,
practice, and we even, I remember we were even timing it. Okay, you have 1 minute,
that's
go.
awesome and
Yeah,
scary. It makes my palms sweat.
right. Yeah, but for me also, I tell them when I'm walking into these rooms, luncheon, a reception, a meeting, hey, tell me more about Con Mi Madre. I gotta be quick. I gotta be quick on my toes. And
Yeah.
sometimes they're like, tell me a story. Do you have a success story? And so yeah, I gotta be ready with my toolbox.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Okay, so you've already described some of this to us, but I clearly you are a master networker at this point, having built the muscle and practiced it over years and years, and you have really spent a lifetime and a full career creating community, but also really creating the partnerships that can support the communities that you've created. So strategic partnerships in the nonprofit circles gets thrown around. It's a buzzword to some extent, but what is a partnership with Con Mi Madre that either they have built before you got there, or that you are building or have built? And is if there's one that you would point to and
Mhm.
say this one is strategic, what do you mean by strategic, and what made it really work versus some of those others that just kind of fizzled and didn't really flesh out into the partnerships you'd hoped?
I think I'm thinking back at some of them that have been around for a long time. I think one, they value the mission.
Hmm.
They know the work that we're doing day
Oh,
in and day
yeah,
out.
you used the word alignment earlier. I loved
Mhm.
that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. We're aligned with the business, or with even with the individual. We have some major donors, individual donors,
Hmm.
and I think, for us, is continuing to showcase the work, the stories. What are we doing with the money that they donate to us, right?
Hmm.
And so we send out our newsletters on social media. We like to tell stories and highlight. And so honestly, I think when they see when they see the families and the girls, when they go to an event and they see them in action, they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is what I'm funding. This is what I'm doing." And even for me personally, even as the executive director, I'm hustling. I'm going to meeting to meeting. I'm rolling up my sleeves. I'm going to events. And then sometimes I need to go see the girls, right? I need to, like, even Saturdays, Mother's Day brunch, the girls and the moms, it again, it reminds me of, like, just all of the women and the girls changing lives. And I need to be reminded, day in and day out. And even my former workplace, I was working in the school district, I'd be in the office. I'm like, I need to go to a campus.
Oh, yeah, get
I need to
in.
go see, yeah, I need to go see the students, and it would
Yeah.
fuel me again. And so, I think that also our funders and our partners can also relate to that when they see our annual impact reports, when they get invited to graduation or an event where they can connect with our students and our moms, when they see the data, right? The impact that they're making with the sponsorships, the donations, the investments that they make. That's when they're like, they do it from the heart, but they're reminded, like, hey, we're putting in the work. And so I just have too many, in my short time here, there's just so many amazing partnerships that we've had for many years. And we're going to continue to do that. And my goal as executive director here at Con Madre is continue to amplify the work that we do, elevate the stories of our families, and really reimagine Con Mi Madre for the next 5 to 10 years by creating new initiatives, strengthening our programs. We've done an amazing job over the last 34 years. We're gonna, be doing some more amazing things for the next 34 years. And so we're really looking ahead. We're looking at a growth plan, expansion. And so, if we don't keep our partners in tune with us and in touch with us with everything
Yeah.
that we're doing, I don't want to lose anybody. I want to keep
Well,
them,
and they feel like they're missing out, or they just don't know, right?
right,
Yeah.
they just don't know, and they're busy too, right? They're
Right.
busy, or they have many organizations that they're funding, or there's just there's so many things going on. And so yeah, I'm really excited about what's ahead for Con Mi Madre. So
So one thing that we don't talk about, or I don't even know if we've ever talked about this on the 501c drop, but that I would love to ask you the feeling, that how it feels for you
mhm.
in your current position as executive director, sitting in the seat. You're a Latina ED leading a Latina serving organization in a sector, the nonprofit sector, that really honestly still has some representation problems or gaps, especially at the executive level. That's just, we can point to data that says this. What does it mean for you when you're building culture, when you're hiring? How what would you tell a younger Linda to think about, who was considering walking this path towards the executive director, towards a C-suite job?
Yeah, I know, absolutely. I mean, you said it, representation matters.
Mhm.
To a younger Linda is, I would tell her that, your voice, your background is just as valuable. And sometimes you might be the only one that looks like you to represent many others. And so, for me, here at Con Mi Madre, I have lived experiences that really allow me to help navigate, the journey with the families, and giving some feedback to our programming, and let's strengthen this, or we could do this, or
Mhm.
you know what I remember, this really helped me along my journey. So really, just thinking about me as a sixth grader. And actually, I would just, 2 months ago, we had, Amplify Austin, right? The 24-hour giving campaign here in the greater Austin area. And I told ChatGPT I was like, here's the picture of me as a sixth grader. Here's a picture of me now. I want them to hug. And so they hugged. I know, it was so cute. It was like the hug. It's actually let's see if you can see it. Yeah. It's my little cover photo.
Oh
Can you
my
see it?
gosh, that's you and you.
Yeah, that's me and me.
Oh,
And
that's
so
incredible.
that just reminds me, of, the work that I'm doing now is
Mm.
for the girls. It's for the little Linda. She was in sixth grade right here. Um, and so, yeah, just, making sure that our voices are heard, for those that are not in the room. And so I always see myself as, being an advocate,
Mhm.
and yeah, sometimes like I mentioned, I might be the only one in the room that looks like me, but that's okay. That's all we need to continue to, lead conversations. And so I'm all about, even when my, current times now, I'm still all about mentoring and being accessible to other leaders if they have questions on anything. I'm always here as a resource, and I look to others too, right? I'm
Sure.
a mentee too. I look to others that have been in the profession a lot longer, that can also help me guide in some of the conversations and the decisions that I'm making. And so I'm thankful for those that came before me, and I'm doing the work now, and I'm hoping that, one day when I'm not here, um, the legacy that I've been able to pass down to our mothers and daughters, and to my boys. Shout out to my two boys, third graders. They're amazing, and so that's going to be my legacy.
Mhm.
Continuing to showcase, the voices that need to be heard.
That's another thing we have in common. The world needs more boys raised by women leading organizations. Like I've got three as well. So good for us. And I've got my final question for you is,
Mhm.
which is how I always end. If everybody listening today, especially those executive directors and development directors, and Latina leaders as well, or frankly, I would say all women leaders, let's just say all leaders,
Sure.
if they were to leave here and remember one thing that you said, what would that thing be? But I will add that I think everybody listening today and listening in the recording as well should go to ChatGPT or your AI of choice and have your current self hug your sixth grade self. It is perfect. That is such a good idea. Like I'm literally going to leave this call and do exactly that.
I
But
did it for my husband. I did it for my kids.
it's so
They're
good.
9 years old. They're like, can you do it for me? Holding me as a baby? Sure. And so everyone loved it. So anyway,
Amazing. What would you say? What's the one thing you want everyone listening to leave with?
right. So for me is just, reminding you that there's only one you. You are amazing. And there'll never be another you. That's the first thing. Two, be bold. Just go for it. Just ask. I've done some crazy asks, like crazy asks on
Spoken
my,
like a true development
and I
director,
know, yes,
executive
please
director.
do. Yes, help me through that.
Fundraisers.
I
Yes.
have. I have been, given some really bold, innovative ideas to some potential partners. And I'm like, oh, no one has ever asked that. Oh, we hadn't thought about that. And I was like, well, it might be a little bit crazy, but what do you think? And so they're having conversations about three potential partners are having, I guess, internal conversations about what I'm proposing. And so one is be bold and roll up your sleeves and get the work done, because it never ends. But at the same time, of course, I did share earlier, I think about con mi madre 24/7, all things. But I also do find time to take care of me, and find times to slow down, even though some of my friends are like, we don't believe you, you're always active and post. I was like, yeah, I'm posting whatever I want to highlight, right? Whether it's a community event, or I went here with my family to a soccer game or whatever. But I do find time to rest, rest to, get a lymphatic drainage massage, or getting a
Okay,
monthly
that's the second time in 24 hours someone has mentioned that to me.
Oh,
So I
it's
think
amazing.
that's
It's
the universe
life
telling me that that's what I need for Mother's Day.
Yeah, it helps you to detox. Yeah,
Yes.
drink a lot of water and it helps you detox. Yes. And so I've been doing that since the pandemic, and it has changed. Yeah, it has changed me in so many ways. So, of course, we're hustling and we're bustling and we're doing all the amazing things. And but don't forget about yourself, right? Always take care of you. I remember, 2 months ago, I had a very minor surgery procedure, and of course, they gave me, medication, and I slept for like, from the time I got home, like after dinner, I got from 6 p.m. till 6 a.m. I slept. Like that was it. That was my night at night. And I remember the following day, I was, driving my boys to school, and I said to them, "Hey, you know what? I'm so sorry, about last night. Mommy was just really sleepy because of that minor procedure, and so I'm just sorry that I didn't get to hang out with you." And one of my boys, oh my gosh, both of them are amazing. And what one of my boys said was, he's like, "It's okay, mom. You have to take care of you so you could take care of us." And I was just like, oh my gosh, like, where did you hear that from? He's like, "No, it came from my heart." I was like, oh
Oh,
my God, like, okay. I was like, I'm doing something right.
good job, Mama. That's literally what I think when I hear that. That's
Absolutely. And I was like,
incredible.
thank you. And so, yeah, so that, we need to take care of ourselves so we can take care of our family members, so that we can get to do the work that we get to do every day through our careers, and other, special interests that we have. And so don't forget about that.
I love that. Those were just the most wonderful reminders, Linda. Thank you so much for
Absolutely.
joining me today. This was just a beautiful conversation filled with inspiration and hope and some very, very good reminders for all of us, but especially those executive directors and development directors. Everybody listening, if you are watching this right now, the chat has both Linda's LinkedIn in it, as well as the site for the Corazon Awards. And if those will be attached as well, if you're watching the recording, to the YouTube and the blog post. And if you are past May 19th, Tuesday, May 19th. What time is it? Tell me
6
about it.
p.m.
6 p.m.
Yeah.
Right here in Austin. If it's past then, you can still go to that site and donate to Con Mi Madre. I hope everybody listening does that as well. Linda, is there any other thing that you want to share about the organization or the Corazon Awards with us before we leave?
No, I think we covered
We
everything.
covered it.
Yeah,
Good. All
I
right.
think we did. Thank you for the opportunity. It was
My
amazing.
pleasure. My
I
pleasure.
can't wait.
Absolutely. Everybody go support Con Mi Madre and the amazing work that Linda and her team are doing. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly appreciate it, Linda. And I've got my last few slides that I want to share with you. Please email any questions that you have. Either DM Linda on LinkedIn. I'm going to go ahead and say that for you, Linda, but I know you're active there. Or send your questions to support@betterunite.com, and we will get back to you with her answer or connect you. And just a quick note about next week, Tuesday, May 12th, I will be joined by Erin Peshoff, one of my favorite consultants out there. She's hilarious and amazing and full of energy, just like Linda. She works with Vivia Studios, and she is going to talk to us about the Friday problem, why reflection is the work scale. So that same self-care tool of just looking in and figuring out what you need and then going and making something bigger. So the pause in order to reset, to grow. So I love that topic. Scan the QR code here if you're interested in registering. We will also send out information very soon. And if you are new to Better Unite or you've never seen it before and you have no idea what I was talking about earlier, the Corazon Awards is being powered by Better Unite. It's definitely being run by Linda and her team. Please do not just the software supporting their organization, but scan that QR code if you'd like to take a demo or take a look. And if you're, again, watching the recording, listening to the podcast, all of that information is in show notes. Again, Linda, thank you so much for your time today. I just so appreciate you.
Thank you so much. You have a great day.
Absolutely. You too. Bye, everyone. Have an incredible day, and let's all go do some good.